Hi everyone, it is time for our next Christmas cupcake from Colours of Christmas. And yes, we have this one. Let's come in a little closer before I have a look at it. Yesterday I didn't do that. I looked at it first and you couldn't necessarily see what I was looking at. We're a bit square, hang on. Oh, we're not too bad, I suppose. There we are. Now, so we have quite a lot of cake showing here. We have icing, as we always do, a candy cane, a sweet, lots of candies. So I'm thinking maybe we'd do it in lots of different candy colours, bright colours. So we'll do this one like a candy cane, but then this one maybe more different colour stripes rather than the one up there, which we just kept green and red and white. And then lots of coloured candies, just a sort of candy coloured instead of doing it too much like just red and white, which can get a bit boring, I think. So I am getting a red to start with, a deep scarlet red. I'm going to do the candy cane. Now with the candy cane, I like a little shine. I'm going to think it may be down there. So I'm going to start with this end. I'm going to put it all the way around the edge here, like this. And then I want to fade it towards the middle, so do less layers coming towards the centre of that stripe, like that. Okay, and then the same on this one. We're leaving our white one. It won't stay completely white. We'll put a bit of grey on it like we did on our white on the one above. And the same on this one. You can leave a white stripe if you want, like that, or fade it, you know, it should work. So that's that. Now we want a palish grey. I'm going to try the coral grey too. I think that might be dark enough. And just go here and then start to fade, and here, same here. So we're just putting in basically the shadow on the white, because if we just left it white it wouldn't look so shiny, but it looks a bit grey, silvery grey, but it stands out from the background. Now this one, yes, I was tempted to just go red and white or green, red and white, but what I think I'm going to do is do it in sort of citrus, yellow and orange, just so it looks really different, because we're going to be doing a mix of different colours. Oh, let me just grab. So I want a sort of lemonish yellow. I'm going to, excuse me, use the light cadmium yellow and an orange glaze. So I'm not using the lemon yellow because it's a bit too pale. That little bit in there is so small. I'm going to do it in the orange because the yellow would just vanish. So we'll start our yellow here. I'm going to do similar to what we did for the ones above. So bring it in and sort of fade it, so we've got a bit of white. It's not really gonna, you're not really gonna see it on this yellow, but is that the top of the cake or a bit of this? I'm gonna colour it as if it's a bit of this, like that. And then our orange glaze. So firstly this teensy bit here, and then the same as we did with the yellow, it'll show up a lot more. So fade it there, fade it up here, and the same with this one, like that. So there we have our sort of citrus candy, and now we've got to think of colours for the other sweets. I think before I do that I'm going to decide on the icing colour, because then I don't want the sweets to be lost in the icing because they're the same colour. I think I'm going to use a pink. Pink icing is always nice for a kiddie's cake, like magenta, which is, although it's sort of Christmassy, but let's not worry about that. Let's just do it pink. So I'm going to do this quite intensely because I want to put some white on it to make it look like it's shiny. So we need quite a thick layer so that we can put white on it. If you do a thin layer and try and put white pen on, the white pen just seems to disappear. It's almost like you're like, where's the pen gone? Is it sunk into the paper? And it's because it hasn't got an intensive enough colour, and there's so much white paper showing through anyway that when you put the white down it just gets camouflaged by the white paper that's there already. So you have to put down quite a convincingly thick layer for the white pen to show. Now with some colours that's really difficult, you know, the sort of pale yellows, cream, things like that, it's really not going to show up anyway. So it's just a matter of playing with it, really, working out what does show up and what doesn't. Also layering. Layer up your pencil to make it more intense, as I said, but also layer up your pen a little bit. The more layers you have, the more likely it's going to be to show. Now let's start with the blackcurrant sweet. Here it is, mauve. Let's do a nice big blackcurrant sweet. I used to take blackcurrant vitamins when I was little. We used to take vitamin C, because we thought it's got rid of colds, which it doesn't. But we used to think we thought it did back in the day. Vitamin C does help with a cold, but not in that way. It helps, once you've got a cold, it can help you, the symptoms not feel as bad. So it's good to take when you've got a cold, but it doesn't prevent it. Permanent green, it's vitamin D that can help with that, because it boosts, I've got to sharpen it, it boosts your immune system. And we don't get a lot of vitamin D in the winter because it comes from the sun, as I expect a lot of you know. So so if we're short in supply because we've not been out in the sun much in the summer, not a lot of us don't go out in the sun very much because we're told not to. I'm going to do a sort of reddy pink. I think the no, let's use the one we haven't used. The alizarin crimson. It's quite red. We use it over here and then it's really far away from our candy cane. Yes, so we don't get the sun, so take the vitamin D, and that's supposed to help. I know some people say it's ridiculous and you should just get some sun and then you won't need to buy the tablets. Okay, it's a fair point, but you know, I don't want to take any risks, but it's completely up to you. And I don't see what's wrong with taking it as an insurance policy if you can afford it. Dark cadmium yellow. I don't think you can overdose on D, but I might be wrong. I'm not a doctor. Now, what are the colour sweets? I don't want blue. I don't like blue sweets. Let's go for a light violet, so a lighter purple. It could be what flavour would that be? Like a lavender flavour. Ugh. I don't want that one. Someone else can have that. Maybe more of a reddy pink, dark like this. The magenta. I just think pink sweets are the best. My dad always used to like the green ones. His favourite colour is green, so he works out, I like the green sweets. And I just think, but just because your favourite colour is green doesn't mean you like all green sweets. It doesn't make sense, but he always insisted on having them, and he always enjoyed them lime, or pretty much it, isn't it, lime? And then if the limes ran out, this is light green, he would have the lemon, then the orange, his next favourite, then the red ones, like strawberry, raspberry, cherry, then he didn't like blackcurrant. My choice was always the opposite way around. I didn't like the lime. I do a little orange one here, and I wasn't a big fan of lemon. Orange I was okay, and then, you know, I liked the blackcurrant was probably my favourite. When it comes to what are they called? What do they call them now? Starburst. Those were what we used to sometimes have. I've got a red here. We'll use this. This is the pompeian red. It's a bit different to this red. So yes, it was quite interesting, but it was good because it meant that, you know, we tended to be able to get what we liked because he ate the ones nobody else liked. Although my mum, my sister liked blackcurrant too. My mum's favourite is always raspberry. I can do this cake. Just try and decide on a colour. I think I'll do it in this. This is the raw umber, I thought it was. But we used to have these sweets for the car. My dad would not really eat sweets, but we had them for the car. I don't know why, travel sweets. But we didn't buy the travel sweets in the tin. They were far too expensive. We couldn't afford them. My dad would go to the garage when he filled up with petrol, and he would grab a packet of sweets, and they were these round boiled sweets which had a chewy middle. My goodness, our teeth. Imagine chewing a... oh, because apparently boiled sweets are bad because they stay in your mouth a long time. Then you would imagine you, so according to dentists, imagine you chew it and then it gets all stuck in your teeth. Not the best. But anyway, I only got one filling. I'm very lucky. I've heard that your teeth, how condition of your teeth can be slightly genetic. I'm going to go around the edge here just to put a bit of shadow under this icing. But my parents haven't got particularly good teeth, so I don't know. But they weren't brought up to brush their teeth, and my dad was given lots of sweets. When his teeth were first coming through, well, when he was a baby, his dummy was dipped in sugar, honey. His dummy was dipped in honey. We're going to do a rainbow here. I thought that'd be fun. So we start with a red. Which red should we use? Should we use... yeah, we use the same colour as the sweets. So we start with the alizarin crimson. I'm not going to try and make it shiny. So I'm just going to put a flat colour through like that. So that's our crimson. Then we'll do the orange. I'm going to use this orange, the dark cadmium orange. And my mum used to have toothpaste in a tin. She said a flat tin. She used to eat the toothpaste, really liked it. Dark cadmium yellow. So they did sort of brush their teeth a little bit, but didn't know like we do. I mean, I was always taken to the dentist as a child and permanent green and taught how to look after my teeth, brushing twice a day and all that sort of thing. And I think it really helped. But we did eat a lot of sweets. So, but we didn't, and we did go through a phase of having a lot of juice. Now, we haven't got any blue sweets, but I feel we need some blue on our rainbow. So I'm going to grab a blue. Let's go for the light phthalo blue. That's what's quite good blue. Oh, I can hear a car racing by. It actually might be on the telly. Husband's watching telly. Now the next one we need is indigo. Could use this mauve, but I think we will just use indigo. We do have one. Here it is, dark indigo. So my friend Mary sent me this video about the rainbow. It was fascinating. That people used to think there were only 3 colours in the rainbow when they first saw it. Because it's really hard, isn't it, to make out all the colours. I'm going to go for our violet. And so there were different beliefs about how many colours. Just red, yellow, no, red, yellow, blue, I think. The green's quite hard to see, isn't it? And things like that, and then different ideas. And I think the idea of 7 came from the fact that 7 is quite a sort of lucky number, or it occurs a lot in nature or something like that. I can't quite remember what it said. It was all quite, it was theorising. But I found it, this back to our dark cadmium orange, I found it quite interesting how actually a rainbow might not look exactly how we think, with the colours. Dark cadmium yellow. It is often quite hard. I've always often squint at a real rainbow if I see one. They're always hard to see, aren't they? Whether the indigo and violet are really that different, permanent green, can you really see them? It's easier actually if you make a rainbow with a prism. You can look at it in a lot more detail. We have rainbows in our house sometimes from our... Now we've got a glass balcony, light phthalo blue. If the sun shines through, it can make rainbows on people's faces as they're sitting at the table. It's quite funny. Kitchen table. So we're now going to take the dark sepia. The first thing I can do is put a little bit of shadow under the cake, under here, because it would cast a little bit of shadow on the case. Now I also want to make it look a bit darker on the edges, so I'm just going to put a only light layer of dark sepia here like this and here to try to just make our cupcake case look, well, our whole cupcake look a little bit more rounded. I don't know if it's worked, but it was fun to have a go. And we're going to use our white pen to draw some shine. Now again, we've got some markings on here already. I think I will follow those. Apart here, I might just extend that one a little bit, put a little bit there. I might, yeah, just go right through all of those dots there. You can see that it really lifts the page to put some white marks on there. If they're not marked on your picture, you can just put them in yourself. You don't have to always follow exactly what our illustrators are telling us to do. Sometimes you can just go a bit off piste. But there is our rainbow sweetie cupcake. I think it's cute. We go back to something a bit more Christmassy. I mean, I know we had a candy cane. We've got Christmas trees and stars. Tomorrow then we've got holly for the last two, so we've got a bit more Christmassy going on. But there we go, nice, bright and cheerful. Why not have rainbows at Christmas? Why not? Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. Yeah, I hope you have a really nice day and happy colouring.